The longer a man goes without intimacy, the more he disappears, not physically, but in the ways that matter. In the softness of his voice when he talks about his day, in the light behind his eyes when someone asks if he's okay. He becomes a shadow of warmth he used to carry, moving through rooms like he's apologizing for taking up space, and nobody notices. Because men like this don't collapse loudly. They fade quietly, one untouched day at a time. At first, it doesn't hurt. It's just silence, an empty bed, mornings without someone's breath against his neck, nights without a hand reaching for his in the dark. He tells himself he's fine, that he's strong enough to live without the things that make us human, and maybe he is. But strength was never meant to feel this cold. Weeks passed and months, and somewhere in the space between wanting and giving up, he stops reaching out, not because he doesn't ache for it, but because longing for something that never comes is its own kind of dying. So he teaches his heart to be still, to stop hoping, to stop hurting. And that's when the real loneliness begins. Not the kind you feel, but the kind you become. When a man goes without intimacy long enough, he starts to forget what tenderness feels like. He forgets that hands can hold without taking, that eyes can see him without judging, that someone's presence can feel like coming home instead of bracing for goodbye. He walks through the world like everyone else, smiling at the right moments, laughing when expected. But inside, there's a room nobody enters, a place where all the unsaid things live. The fear that he's too much or not enough. The belief that maybe he's the kind of person meant to be alone. Not because he wants to be, but because wanting hasn't changed anything. And the cruelest part, he sees it everywhere. Couples holding hands in coffee shops, a woman resting her head on a man's shoulder on the subway, strangers touching like it's nothing, like intimacy is just another Tuesday. And he wonders when he stopped being someone people reach for, when he became invisible to affection, when maybe someday turned into probably never. And he doesn't talk about it, because how do you say, I'm starving for touch without sounding desperate? How do you admit, I can't remember the last time someone held me without feeling pathetic? So he keeps it inside, and inside is where it grows. The hunger, the emptiness, the quiet conviction that something is fundamentally broken in him. Late at night, when the world is asleep and he's staring at the ceiling, he replays every moment someone almost stayed. Every conversation that felt like it might lead somewhere. Every look that seemed to linger just a second too long. And he asks himself what he did wrong. Was he too eager? Too distant? Did he smile too much or not enough? He doesn't know. All he knows is that everyone else seems to find it. Love, touch, someone who stays, and he's still here. Alone. Again. Watching from the outside like intimacy is a language he was never taught to speak. And the worst part isn't the loneliness itself. It's the shame that comes with it. The voice that whispers, maybe you're unlovable, every time someone walks away. The belief that if he were worth choosing, someone would have chosen him by now. So he stops trying. Not dramatically, just slowly. He stops swiping, stops hoping, stops imagining a future where someone knows his middle name and the way he takes his coffee and the sound he makes when he finally feels safe. He builds a life around the emptiness, and people call it independence. But it's not. It's just survival dressed up as strength. And then one day, something shifts. Someone sees him, really sees him. Not the version he shows the world, but the one he hides. The one that's tired of pretending he doesn't need anyone. She doesn't say much at first, just looks at him a little longer than strangers do, touches his arm when she laughs, asks questions like his answers matter, and he doesn't know what to do with it. Because kindness, when you've lived without it, feels like a trick, like something that will be taken away the moment you believe in it. So he hesitates, pulls back, tests her without meaning to, not because he doesn't want her, but because wanting her feels like standing at the edge of a cliff. One step forward, and he could fall into something beautiful, or break into pieces he'll never put back together. And he's so tired of breaking. But here's what he doesn't know yet. She's not going anywhere. not because he's perfect, but because she sees the ache he's tried so hard to hide and recognizes it as something worth holding. If this is landing somewhere deep in your chest, stay with us. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because Psychology Secrets is where we talk about the things nobody else will. The loneliness, the longing, the truth that needing someone doesn't make you weak, it makes you alive. When a man finally lets intimacy back in after years of living without it, it doesn't feel like relief. It feels like remembering, like his body suddenly recalls what it was built for. Touch, closeness, the weight of another heartbeat against his chest, and it's overwhelming because he's not used to softness anymore. He's used to walls, to distance, to the safety of expecting nothing so nothing can hurt him. But now someone is here, and she's not leaving, and he doesn't know how to hold that without breaking it. So he loves her carefully, like she's made of something fragile, like if he wants too much or feels too deeply, she'll see how desperate he's been and run. He doesn't say, "I love you," easily, not because he doesn't feel it, but because those words taste like every time he said them before and got silence back. So he shows it instead, in the way he remembers the small things, in the way he shows up when she needs him, in the way his whole body softens when she touches his face and says, "You're safe with me." And maybe, for the first time in years, he believes it. But healing isn't linear. Some days he's present, open, letting her all the way in, and other days the fear comes back. The voice that says, "This won't last." The instinct to leave before he's left. He picks fights over nothing, shuts down when she asks what's wrong, pulls away just enough to test if she'd chase him, not because he wants to push her away, but because every part of him is screaming, she's going to leave anyway. So protect yourself now. And if she's patient, if she sees the fear for what it is and stays anyway, something inside him starts to thaw. The part that believed he was too broken to love. The part that convinced him intimacy was for other people, not him. Slowly, he stops flinching when she reaches for him, stops apologizing for taking up space in her life, stops waiting for the moment she realizes he's not worth the effort. And one night, lying beside her in the dark, he realizes something. He's not afraid anymore. Not of her leaving, not of himself staying. For the first time in longer than he can remember, he feels like he belongs somewhere. Not in a place, but in her arms, and it's the closest thing to home he's ever known. But what about the men who never get here? The ones who wait and nobody comes? What happens to them? They don't turn bitter, not exactly. They just stop believing in the possibility of being found. They build entire lives around the absence. Routines that don't require another person. Hobbies that fill the silence. Friendships that stay surface level because going deeper means admitting how alone they really are. And people look at them and think they're fine, think they've chosen this. But nobody chooses to be untouched for years. Nobody chooses to forget what it feels like to be wanted. They just adapt, because the alternative, staying open to a hope that never arrives, is too painful to survive. And society tells them to man up, to stop complaining, to be grateful for what they have. As if loneliness is something you should be ashamed of, instead of something that's slowly killing you from the inside out. So they stay quiet, and we let them, until one day we notice they've been gone for a while, not physically, but in every way that matters. And by then, reaching them feels impossible, because they've learned to live in a world where nobody reaches back. If you're reading this and you see yourself in these words, I need you to hear something. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not unlovable just because you've been unloved. The intimacy you've gone without, the touch you've ached for, the closeness you've convinced yourself you don't deserve, it's not gone forever. It's just waiting for the moment you're brave enough to believe in it again. And I know that's terrifying. I know opening up after years of shutting down feels like handing someone a weapon and hoping they don't use it. But staying closed forever isn't protecting you. It's just making you smaller. So take one step, not a leap. Just one scared, imperfect step toward the possibility that maybe, just maybe, There's someone out there who will hold you like you've always needed to be held. And if you know someone who's been alone too long, don't wait for them to ask for help. They won't. Just show up, be present, touch their shoulder, and let them know they're not invisible. Because sometimes the loneliest people are the ones who've learned to hide it best. Thank you for being here, for listening, for feeling. Share this if it reached you, because someone out there needs to know they're not alone in feeling alone.